Every year, people fleeing war, persecution, and unimaginable hardships set out on a dangerous journey across Europe. They're not chasing riches. They are simply looking for safety, for dignity, for a chance to live without fear. And in their most desperate moment, who do they meet? Not humanitarian helpers, not safe legal pathways. They meet human smuggling gangs. As we all are familiar by now, these gangs are predators in the truest sense. They operate like international businesses, with recruiters in war-torn villages, transport coordinators across borders, and enforcers waiting in Britain. They sell seats on flimsy boats, space inside lorries, or forged documents for thousands of pounds. Families borrow, beg, or sell everything they own to pay the price. Some hand over tens of thousands of pounds, money that vanishes into a criminal empire. And once you're inside their system, there is no escape. Gangs control your every step. They use encrypted messaging apps to arrange drop offs. They employ lookouts on the beaches of Calais. They bribe officials to look the other way. If someone cannot pay up front, the debt follows them into Britain, bringing them into forced labor. They end up in nail salons or car washes or construction sites or even private homes, working illegally, working endlessly just to pay off a bill that never seems to shrink. What does that really mean for a human being? It means mothers arriving in freezing waters with hypothermia, clutching their children, while smugglers shout at them to keep moving. It means men waking up in warehouses without passports, beaten if they ask questions. It means children who should be playing a football in a schoolyard, instead locked inside vans, gasping for air. The cruelty doesn't end when they reach the UK. Exploitation continues in silence. Some victims live in fear of retaliation against their families back home if they speak out. Others have their documents held hostage, and in the worst cases, they disappear entirely, swallowed into the modern slavery rings connected to the very same gangs that brought them here. The danger spills beyond victims. These networks aren't just people smugglers, they are criminal syndicates. The same boats used to move families across the channel can also be used to smuggle drugs or weapons. The same shell companies that launder smuggling profits can launder funds for criminal trades. In other words, every time these gangs grow stronger, Britain becomes less safe. The cost is staggering in lives lost at sea, in billions spent on enforcement, and in the trust eroded between communities. Yet, for the gangs, each drowning, each exploitation is simply another line in their business ledger. Now, let's turn to another layer of this crisis, one that is less visible, but just as damaging. Not everyone who takes these routes is fleeing persecution. Among the vulnerable are also able bodied individuals who do not qualify for asylum under international law, but who use the same dangerous pathways. Why does this matter? It matters because every person who misuses the asylum system feeds the very gangs exploiting the vulnerable. Every seat they buy on a boat increases the demand, inflates the price, and gives the smugglers more power. It encourages the gangs to expand, to take greater risks, and to cram more desperate people into conditions that are already life threatening. And when these able bodied migrants arrive, they overwhelm the system designed to protect the most vulnerable. The asylum process slows down, resources are stretched, housing fills up, legal aid is diluted. And who suffers the most? The mother fleeing violence, the child escaping war, the man running from persecution. They are forced to wait longer, trapped in limbo, while their place is crowded out by those who never truly qualified. There is also a deeper risk: national security. Smuggling routes do not come with background checks. When people use them to bypass legal migration pathways, authorities lose the chance to properly vet and process the arrivals. That creates blind spots that can be exploited by criminals, and in rare but serious cases, by individuals with dangerous intent. This is not just about economics or paperwork. It is about fairness. When able bodied individuals misuse the asylum, they take away from those who desperately need it. They take away beds in shelters. They take away appointments with caseworkers. And most importantly, they take away the credibility of the system itself. And in doing so, they hand gangs the one thing they crave most: profits. So, where does this leave us? It leaves us with a double crisis. Vulnerable asylum seekers are being brutalized by gangs who see them as nothing more than income. And at the same time, able bodied migrants who misuse the asylum system are fueling the same networks, making them stronger, more dangerous, and harder to dismantle. The tragedy is clear: lives lost, families broken, communities strained, and national security compromised. But the lesson is clear too. Until we protect the vulnerable with safe and legal alternatives, and until we close the loopholes exploited by those who misuse the asylum system, the gangs will continue to thrive. And every night, on cold beaches, under a dark sky, another boat will push into the channel. Another family will gamble everything. Another child will step into the water. And the cycle will go on unless we find the courage to break it. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video.